this intro music down.
You consistent, baby. You consistent.
Hey, man. Hey, we back. Episode 4, right? This episode
Yeah.
4? Hold on. Let me get. Jeez, I can't. All right. Episode 4 of Nutty North. Almost said open gym. My bad.
Hey, get your mind right before we go into the show. Get your mind right.
You're right. Episode 4 of Nutty North presented by Mojo Sports Gear. We're gonna start off with defense position.
You ain't gonna introduce nobody. Okay.
Oh, snap.
That's Rondell Sutherland, and I'm Maurice Edwards, who'll be joining today. And we also have T. I don't know why I'm pointing to the side like he's here. He's not here, but he'll be joining us over the phone, over Skype soon. So yeah, you forgot that part. So that's the introduction. How you guys doing out there?
Thank God I got my co-host here to help me out. I'm slacking. But yeah, we back and we about to start with defensive position ranking. So you want to start us off?
Yeah. So I had the defensive line, of course. We did talk. We separated it because I was gonna put some edge players. We talked me, you, T off camera. So with the defensive line, I think I'm gonna give the slight edge. I thought about this a little bit to the Ravens over the Steelers just because they were able to add Calais Campbell and Derek Wolfe to the offseason. This offseason to go with Brandon Wolfe. I mean, not Brandon Wolfe. Sorry about that. With Brandon Williams. But the Steelers it's like 1A, 1B in my opinion because I think Cam Hayward is one of the best defensive linemen in the league. He's very underrated. They have Stephon Tuitt, who's a good player there. They got some young players there. So I thought that was real close with that position ranking. So I did go Ravens 1A, but I gave the Steelers 1B with that. And then I gave the Browns then at the slot just because Myles Garrett alone. They have some other young players on that defensive line who's established as well. I want to say they lost the one guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He wore like 62, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember his last name, but I think they lost him to Kansas City this offseason. He's a good player. And then I got the Bengals at 4. Even though they still have Geno. Geno's still dominant. I think the edge guys are starting to get up there on age, and I think it's time for them to let the young guys like Sam Hubbard probably just give them the keys on the edge, and let them just go get after it because the edge guys are starting to get up there in age. But they did add some defensive linemen this offseason to go along with Geno, so that will help take some pressure off Geno because he still does his thing and keep going crazy on offensive linemen. So I had the Bengals ranked 4th in that, but that was my defensive lineman ranking.
All right. I think I pretty much got the same list as you. I got the Ravens at 1, especially since they got Calais Campbell. But I think I put the Browns ahead of the Steelers just because of Myles Garrett. Especially if he didn't get suspended, he would have been.
Oh yeah,
he would have been eating that whole season.
He's an animal. There's no question Myles Garrett at this point. Before he went out, he already had 10 sacks.
Right.
So just imagine if he'd got to play them last six games. Excuse me. So
yeah.
I think I agree with you on his talent, but just as a unit, I think the Steelers are a little deeper, more depth than the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, with the Steelers, all I know about is Hayward, and then I know T.J. Watt, but he's a linebacker, and he come off the edge sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I had them 3rd. And the Bengals, even though I know most of the talent on that defensive line, they haven't been showing up mostly.
I think that's just because some of them guys are getting up there in age, like Dunlap, Michael Johnson. I think they're just getting up there in age. I think that's why you should probably play the Hubbards more and probably just let them start and turn the Johnsons and Dunbar and them into. I'm not gonna say just rotational players, but give more. Well, the young guys still have to earn the reps as well. Just can't say it's theirs to be to have their job. But I think they should play guys like Sam Hubbard more and the young guys they're getting up in Cincinnati because, like you said, the talent's there, but these last couple of years,
they haven't shown up.
Haven't produced. So I think it's just the age catching up with them, honestly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, did I finish with that? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know where your mind's at today, Rondell, but I hope we could get you tuned in on the show here soon.
Yeah, I'm trying. After this break, I'm gonna be locked in. So let's we got the defensive line out the way. So let's start with the linebackers. I got the Steelers first, and then I got the Ravens second with the I want to say the Bengals and then the Browns because I don't really know any Browns linebackers that make impact like that.
They had the young player they had last year, Mac Wilson from Alabama, played good for him, but like of course he still has to establish himself
Right.
more. But he did show flashes for Cleveland last year.
Okay. Yeah. Because I just put the Bengals ahead because even though like we like the linebackers is probably our weakest position on defense, I feel like Jermaine Pratt he's gonna come into himself. He seemed like the most consistent out of especially out of last year
Yeah.
out of them linebackers. And then we got some new ones coming in, some young ones. So I just put us ahead for like potential, talent.
Okay. So I agree with you. I did have the Steelers ranked as number one linebackers. They have Devin Bush. They got T.J. Watt. Them two alone, I think, probably makes them the best at this moment in the AFC North at the linebacker crew,
Right.
especially with T.J. Watt. He's one of the best at his position in the NFL, one of the best players in the NFL,
Yeah,
as you've
most
seen on
of.
the top 100. So that makes them one of mine. And then honestly, these next three is really nobody proven. Like I gave us the slight edge just because we have somebody like Matt Judon who got 10 sacks last year and he's starting to establish himself. But like other than that, we really don't have like no proven linebackers. We drafted Patrick Queen first round. We drafted Malik Harrison third round. Columbus owned Walnut Ridge, Ohio State. So I think them two will come in and start immediately, but it's going to be some bumps and bruises with the growing pains in the NFL,
Right.
especially with it if it's limited training camp and stuff like that. Then three, I did go with the Browns because I think somebody like Mac Wilson can be a really good player for them in their defense. And I know they did lose one of their best linebacker this offseason. Schmidt, how you pronounce his last name?
Uh,
I know he went to the Jaguars.
I don't know for sure.
I know they lost him this offseason. And then I ranked the Bengals fourth, honestly. And when it comes time to think of linebackers off that team, it was even hard for me to do that.
Right.
So I think that's why I'm going to rank them fourth.
Well, I
And
mean, I think we got rid of most of our
yeah,
linebackers.
like y'all got most of the old guys y'all had who was part of the problem. You feel me? They were slower in space, couldn't really pass coverage, getting up there in age. So it was time to, start bringing them younger linebackers in. It's just time for them to prove themselves. So I will rank the Bengals four in linebackers in the division.
Okay. All right. What about the DBs secondary?
So this one was tough. I gave the Ravens the edge over the Steelers, just because of depth, kind of with Earl Thomas, Marlon Humphrey, uh, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith. We got Clark playing a strong safety, so I think just depth. But the Steelers, I think they probably have the best DB in the division. If I'm being honest, right now, Minka Fitzpatrick, he's one of the best safeties in the NFL. So I did have them ranked two. And in the division, they have Minka, they have Joe Hayden, they have Stevie Nelson. So they have some real solid corners out there in Pittsburgh as well. I just gave the depth edge to Baltimore. Three, I went with the Browns. They have some young players. We're gonna see how Denzel Ward can respond this his third year. He wasn't as good as he was in his first year, but he still showed them flashes. They have a young guy like Cedric Redwine who started for him last year at safety. So they have some good young talent there. And four, I went with the Bengals. Once again, even though they have some players, they got William Jackson, they got Jesse Bates, who's really underrated. He's going to be, I think, me personally, I think he's going to be a good safety in this league. But it's just what else can they put around them two to help them two go? So we'll see that from there. Anybody's able to, of course, when the season starts, change and go up and down. But just heading into the season, that's how I will rank them in this division.
Okay. I think my list is pretty much the same. I, well, I actually did come with the Bengals at everything last, but thinking on the linebackers, I was like, I don't know who's with the Browns, but with that secondary, I do have the Ravens first, the Steelers second, because snap, who was on? Yeah, Minka.
Yeah.
I mean, they traded away what
The
they
first
traded
round
away.
draft pick, and it was well worth it.
Yeah,
As
it
you
was
see, he
well.
came out there. What he had like 5 picks on the season. He had 2 touchdowns. So I think Minka. I liked him when he came out of Alabama and went to the Dolphins. The
Right.
Dolphins was just they had a lot going on last year. You could tell they wanted to just completely start over. Like never understood why they got rid of one of their best young defensive players, but
Who they get rid of?
Minka Fitzpatrick, the Dolphins. When they
You
traded
was
him.
talking about the Dolphins. I thought you was back on the Steelers.
You with me?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
All right, so yeah, the Steelers. I bet you they think it was worth trading them
Right.
first round picks to get Minka there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And then I had the Browns because of Denzel Ward, just basically on him alone because
Okay.
he's their star corner there, and I had the Bengals last because
They got Greedy Williams there too as well. So it's some young talent in
I know it's
Cleveland.
some
Cleveland
young
has a
talent,
lot
but
of young talent there. It's just
I know,
hey, let's just show. It's time for them to show it. Really go out there and play and make plays for
yeah,
Cleveland.
yeah. But I got the Bengals last just because I mean they had to revamp the whole secondary,
Yeah,
so they brought in Trey Waynes and
and that's a 1 year deal. So who knows
yeah,
where that's really gonna go?
and
If he flashes, like he could
he
probably
might
stay on the
get
roster.
they brought in Von Bell, you know,
Yeah,
all that other
he's gonna
stuff.
play like he's gonna play closer to the box,
Right,
like that strong safety who could cover. I know he's happy because he probably really get to show his potential. You know, in New Orleans he rotated a lot. He
right.
probably gonna get to Cincinnati and immediately start. So he should complement Jesse Bates well because Jesse Bates is somebody who can cover a lot of range. He's been doing that since college when he was at Wake Forest. So he's always been a good player. So like we said though, it's a lot of young talent in this division,
A lot of young
especially on
talent.
teams that's unproven. So it's just time to just go show it now. Show NFL what type of plays you can make.
Right, right. And that's everything,
Nah,
right?
the special teams unit. We can't forget Justin Tucker, who's the best kicker in the NFL.
We
Yes,
gonna talk
sir.
about special
Yes,
teams.
sir. We're gonna show love to them special teams too.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
so we're gonna put Justin Tucker, who's the best kicker in the NFL. We're gonna put him. The Ravens got #1 kicking unit.
All right,
Then I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
you gonna go Pittsburgh?
Yeah, with the second special teams unit.
Okay, I can see that.
Then I'm gonna go Cleveland 3 with their special teams unit.
You not gonna put the Bengals ahead of Cleveland?
Nah,
Come on, man.
not in the special teams unit.
Not in the special team.
Nah, I
Wait, hold
think
up.
I think Cleveland got a little better special team. They get some return. Go ahead, look it up for us,
I'm about to look it
producer,
up. Okay.
on the spot. Out of all the times I ranked the Bengals last, this the time it becomes a problem when the special teams unit is ranked last.
I mean, the other times it was worth it.
I gave y'all the second best receiver unit and the third.
Well, yeah, that's worth it, but ain't nothing to argue there. But special teams. Wait, who's our kicker again? Randy Bullock, right? No, yeah, Randy Bullock's our kicker. Kevin Huber's our punter, and you took that. You took the Browns over that.
What's his accuracy on the field goals? What's his attempts and makes?
Randy Bullock's accuracy. Let's look. Hold on.
What's his percentage? And is he hitting them things with games on the line? No.
I mean, he used to. That's the thing. He used to.
We're gonna see.
All right. Hold on. Randy Bullock. There's no way. Hold on. And you wanted his percentage, right?
Yeah, what's his makes and attempts? Is he 16 for 19? Is he 18 for 21? Is he 20 for 22?
Last season he was 10 for 10 from 20 to 29 yards.
Okay, 20 29. What's his
He
longer?
was 6 for 6 from 30 to 39.
All right, so right now he's 16 for 16.
And from 40 to 49 yards, he was 12 for 10.
12 for 10?
Yeah.
How you make more than you attempt?
No, he attempted 12 and he made 10.
So 10 for 12.
Well, I went how it was presented to me.
Okay. So he only got 2 missed kicks on the season.
Only got 2. Yeah,
Okay,
he's like 87.1%.
Hey, that's very impressive. Matter of fact, Rondell, you have convinced me I will make the Cincinnati Bengals the third best special teams unit in the
I'm just
AFC
saying.
North.
You
That
got
good with you?
Yeah, that's good with
I
me.
appreciate it.
Because that's how
big
my
dog.
list was gonna go.
Appreciate it, big dog.
All right. Okay. Well, I think we just got defense over, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty quick. So we're gonna go on a quick break and then we'll be back. All right, we back. And hold on. Let me get my rundown out. Unless you got it. You got your rundown?
You know I'm always prepared.
All right, so the next thing is the AFC North.
You got You gotta let T get his rundown.
Oh yeah, T. Can you hear me now, T?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear
Can
you.
you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't hear
You don't hear him?
you. Nah.
Hold on. I'm about to mute this NDI source. I hope that does it. Well, I don't think you can hear him at all, but I can hear him over here.
Cool
Yeah.
beans.
But T, we wanted you to give your rundown on the defensive ranking.
So as far as just where we
What
starting
we
at, where we starting at the D tackles.
keep talking.
We talking about, we starting with the D tackles. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Say that again.
So we starting with the D tackles.
Well, me and Maurice, we already did ours, so we just wanted you to go through your list. Yeah, we started
All
with the
right.
defensive line though.
So defensive line, I kind of have them mixed up a little bit. I got them more of my D tackles kind of combined them together because with the 4-3 and the 3-4, I mean it's edge rusher, D line, linebacker. Like it's kind of like I feel like I kind of want to rate the edge guys kind of by themselves because I think with the linebacking core close, I kind of want to grade them together. So I kind of have mine more old school with it, where I got the defensive line. So first, I'll give it to the Steelers. I
You
mean,
give it to
Cam
the
Hayward
Steelers first?
to it. Yeah, I'll give it to them.
Okay.
Really, to me personally, with the defensive tackles, I think from 1 to 4 it can be flip flop. Like, and it's no disrespect to any of the line fours. It's just that I think that they're all so kind of neck and neck, and there's certain things that need to happen. Like, Geno Atkins and DJ Reader, that's a great defensive tackle line on paper. You know what I mean? The defensive tackle area on paper. But you got to see them play and see what they can do together. They may hurt each other, they may step on each other. Brandon Williams and Calais Campbell, I got them together just mainly because Calais Campbell, I think he can really, really do what he needs to do there because he can kind of play all over the line, but just to have somebody that's that big and quick at the D tackle position, I think that helps him out. So I'll give him strong 2, but it's like a 2A, 2-3, 2B kind of thing. Um, it's kind of to me. I mean, it can go either way, but that's 2-3. I'll get the Atkins Reader, and I'll throw Dunlap in there too, just because he's another big body that can rotate around that area. And 4, I'll go with the Browns, but again with the caveat that they could be number 1. I mean, Sheldon Richardson, Larry Ogunjobi, and Andrew Billy's coming over, and Jordan Elliott's a strong rookie. So it really just depends on how they get it together. On the defensive line, I mean, I think just a lot has to do with the razor thin, how close it is. So at least that's where I have it in that area. For the edge outside linebackers, I mean, again, that's tough. We can go ahead and put Myles Garrett and Vernon on the defensive line, and I think that changes the game.
Wait, so
if we
hold on, T. You went position by position?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
So what did y'all do over the defensive line, like the whole
Yeah, we
line?
did the whole line. But
so where did you have CJ Watt? Did you have him linebacker or
you said say that again?
TJ Watt?
Oh, we left him at linebacker. Yeah, we left TJ Watt at linebacker.
Okay, that's TJ. So TJ Watt was linebacker. Where did you have Myles Garrett?
We had him at a defensive end, but you had the Browns at third, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we both had the Browns third.
So y'all graded as a defensive line total?
Yeah, as total, yeah.
Okay, so TJ Watt's on the linebacker for. I'll go under your thought. I mean, under you guys' thought. So under that, then if we're grading that as defensive line, then I think that could be enough that that vaults the Browns. I guess that's why I had it differently because like if you I feel like grading it that way, it kind of hurts the Bengals because you got like Sam Hubbard and Carl Lawson. I don't know where you would consider them. Like, would you consider Hubbard a defensive end with Lawson being a
I would
linebacker?
consider Hubbard a defensive end. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. I considered him a defensive end. They run a 4-3.
Right. Because he was rating them by position.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so under that, I would have, if I can combine them, because I have my list a little bit different. I think if you combine them, then, and if you got TJ Watt, because that's the same thing with the Steelers. Like the Steelers, I think they take a drop down because it was so regimented. As TJ Watt's considered a linebacker. So I think that right there will make the Steelers probably have the best linebacking core, but their defensive line will take a hit as far as the rankings because you don't add a talent like TJ Watt. And I would assume Bud Dupree didn't hit the defensive line on your rankings either.
Say that again.
Bud Dupree, did you have him rated as a linebacker?
No, I think I had Bud Dupree as a linebacker too. I didn't consider him on the line.
Yeah, they run a 3-4, so he's an outside linebacker.
Yeah.
So off of just lineman period, just keeping that a buck, I don't know. That's tough because I would say with that it being like that and putting Myles Garrett on that defensive line with Vernon, I would put them as the number one defensive line just because of Myles Garrett's impact, and then you add what Sheldon Richardson can do with Larry Ogunjobi, then I would have to give them the edge if we're ranking it that way.
So you give Browns first on
Yeah,
defensive
if we're
line.
putting the line, if I'm adding Myles Garrett to that defensive line, that means I'm taking him away from the linebacker core, and he's going on the defensive line for the Browns. So that's why I ranked it position by position because it was I think with the 3-4 and the 4-3, Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, that's really what it's about. Both of those guys kind of fought the other rankings. So like TJ Watt, it makes the linebacker ranking higher in the Steelers' favor because of him added on to that instead of the defensive line. Where Myles Garrett, I think you add him on top of the defensive line, that kind of gives the Browns the edge because I think it is so close between 1 and 2.
Okay, so because you were considering TJ Watt on the line, since you wasn't considering Myles Garrett on the line, but you considered TJ Watt.
Now I had them graded different. Like I got the edge and the outside linebackers on the same spot. So like on my list for the linebackers and edge, I have TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, and Alex Highsmith. So that's where I have them, but they're based separately than the defensive line where I would have Cameron Haywood, Steven Tuitt, and Tyson Alualu on the defensive line. So I don't have TJ Watt. He's considered it's a whole different category. It's the linebacker edge kind of position. Right. So on that list, I have TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, Alex Highsmith, and then I got Myles Garrett, Oliver Vernon, and Thad Thomas.
Okay.
With Matt Judon, Tyus Bowser, and Jalen Ferguson third, and then Sam Hubbard, Carl Lawson, and Andrew Brown fourth. But I have them rated as edge, the edge linebacker pool.
Okay, so the way we did it, we just graded the D tackles and the defensive end as the line. Then we did the linebackers separate. So that's the outside linebackers, the middle linebackers, all that. And then we did the safety. Well, we did the secondary as a whole. Then we did the special team.
All right, so under that notion, I keep the Browns at 1 defensive line because, like I said, adding Myles Garrett to that list and subtracting T.J. Watt that list for the Steelers.
Okay.
So I had the Browns 1, Steelers 2, Ravens 3, and Bengals 4.
Okay. That's your
again, to me, but it's razor thin though, so it can easily be flip flop.
Okay. Repeat that again. You said Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, right?
Yeah, Browns 1, Ravens 2, Bengals 3, Steelers. Browns 1, Steelers 2, Ravens 3, Bengals 4.
Okay, so Browns, Steelers, Ravens, Bengals for defensive line. Okay, what about your linebackers?
Linebackers, that is a little bit different. I got I'm gonna have to give the Steelers the edge just because if we're grading TJ Watt as a linebacker, then for sure, and Bud Dupree, you add that along with Devin Bush. Come on, that's just that with the edge. I think with the linebacker, where did y'all have Judon Bowser? Did y'all have him rated as line?
Or we have Judon
I-
Bowser. What did you have?
I had the Steelers with the number one linebacker unit. I had Ravens with the second, Browns with the third, Bengals with the fourth.
Okay, you heard that too.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So yeah, under that. Now, I have it with one Ravens too. Browns 3, Bengals 4.
Okay. Repeat that again. You were breaking up a little.
I had the Steelers 1, Bengals 2, Browns 3, 4.
You had the Steelers 1, Browns 2, Ravens 3, Bengals 4.
No, I have the Steelers 1, Ravens 2, Browns 3, Bengals.
Okay. All right. Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. All right.
Yep.
So how about the secondary?
Secondary, you said that as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole.
Well, I mean, to me, secondary, that's tough. I mean, the AFC North is a tough division. That's why I thought it was Razor close just all around. And I mean, I think that's you can see that in the position rankings too. But for the defensive backs, I have the Ravens. Um, I think after Earl Thomas on the Ravens, that secondary gets or the safety area gets kind of lacking. But I mean, you add that along with Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peterson, Jimmy Smith. I mean, that's enough said. I think the Steelers are super close with them, especially the way they played last year. I do think Joe Hayden, I mean, obviously he's getting older. He might be slowing down a bit. Steve Nelson and Mike Hilton for that core. But Minka Fitzpatrick's obviously the dude. He's a big time. I mean, X factor. He's one of those modes, man. I'm not gonna put him in the Ed Reed category or Deshaun Taylor, nothing like that. Not just yet, but he's one of those safeties that just they make plays. Like he can definitely switch the course of the game. Terrell Edmonds, he's an upcoming safety, so I think that definitely helps him out. The Browns, I think the growing thing with the Browns is talent. It's a lot of talent being put together, but the talent has to be coached up too and being able to play together. So, I think they can be real good. Carl Joseph and Cedric Redwine, Cedejo and Delpit. It's a lot of potential out there. So, I have them at 3. And Bengals, I have them at 4. Mainly because it's just like a revolving chair, man. William Jackson, he's a steady hand, but Mackenzie Alexander and Trey Williams, we don't know what they're going to bring to the table. I know you guys picked up Von Bell, and Jesse Bates was a holdover. Sean Williams can play, but I just think that they're going to have to learn how to kind of all play together, especially
right,
with
gel together.
Yeah.
Is we still good?
I'm checking right now.
Okay. Keep going, T.
Yeah, I just think that they're going to have to kind of just learn how to play together. It's throwing a lot of talent together, but just how the coaching staff puts everything into play, and it's going to be tough in that division too, just to be able to have to just kind of strap up. Really, it's a hard hitting division, so I just think the Bengals are just going to have to grow up fast, and it's just a whole lot of new pieces that's being put together. Where it's talent there, but they will have to develop them quick.
Okay. And the special teams unit, how you got them ranked?
That'd be one.
I don't special teams.
NFL and Justin Tucker.
We're gonna kick her punter. Or Justin Tucker definitely he's automatic. I would go Ravens. I like Gillum, the punter for the Browns. So I would say that's the best punter in the division. But special teams is so fluid. Outside of the holdover, Tucker and Gillum. Just if we're gonna have to rank them, Ravens 1, Steelers, Browns, Bengals.
So you got Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bengals.
Yeah.
After I just proved why the Bengals should be third on special teams.
So you going hard for it today?
Look, man, all I said is well, no, not Kevin Hubert. Randy Bullock, right? It was Randy Bullock.
You don't even know his name. You're trying to convince us to make him third.
Man, I'll try to keep everything in control. I literally just forgot his name, but it's Randy Bullock. I remember my kicker, Randy Bullock. He's 87.1%. That's his efficiency. Come on, over the Browns. You at least got to give him over the Browns. Let's check Justin Tucker, just real quick.
You looking it up?
'Cause I believe Justin Tucker is the best kicker in the league.
He might be the best ever.
He has a case.
Yeah, he has a case. I mean, what's his name?
Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, it's Vinatieri still around.
Rings.
All right. Well, you see, field goal percentage. Justin Tucker is 96.6%.
GOAT when it comes to kicking. Justin Tucker.
All right.
4 straight seasons with 141 points. I just seen that on Instagram. That's how I know that.
All right. So, who's the kicker for the Browns again? You said Gillum?
No, that's the punter.
That's the punter.
I'm
trying to figure this out. You know the kicker for the Steelers? I don't know them by heart. I know that much.
Look it up, producer.
I said I do.
Huh?
He wear number 6. I feel like though.
For the Steelers?
Yeah, for the Steelers.
No, that was Duck Hodges that wore number 6.
He said that was Duck that wore number 6.
Okay, that is Duck. I don't know who their kicker is.
All right. I know we spending a lot of time on this.
No, you gotta prove your point, Rondell. Go ahead. For 3 and 4, right?
Yeah. It's not Chris Boswell still, is it?
Yeah, it is Boswell.
Oh, snap. That might get tricky.
Yep, he's second.
Chris Boswell. Let's check his stats. He probably second. 93.5%. Yeah, he's second.
Yeah, he's second.
Got it. All right, so let's look kicker for the Browns. You know the kicker for the Browns, T?
He should. That's his team.
Should still be Joseph.
Joseph. What's his last name? Was that his last name or first?
That's his last name. I'm gonna say Carl.
Carl Joseph.
No, it's not Carl. Now that's what I'm forgetting.
I mean, the kicker is a forgotten position at times. It's showing me Austin Siebert.
Siebert. That's right. It was Joseph at the beginning of the season. Tripping.
So I'm looking at Austin Siebert. He is 86.2.
Yeah, he's fresh off the. He's young. He ain't worried about being the GOAT. He's got to make the kicks to count. We done had a revolving door at kicker. Right. I mean, the Browns weren't always in a position to win games, but as of late, the kickers have cost the Browns a lot of possible wins. So, I mean, add that to the long list. I mean, I know the quarterback position has been a big thing in the Browns, and rightfully so, but, I mean, the kicker has been just as bad. I still remember the year against the Ravens where you missed that kick and it cost the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We should definitely be third on special teams. I'm just saying, look, Siebert's 86.2, but Bullock's 87.1. Come on, man. I'm gonna need you to change.
If you round that up, both of them are 87.
Yeah, if you round it up, they both are.
Yeah,
but
it's a coin flip. I give the Bengals third. You got it. I give y'all that because I feel like Tyler Boyd is y'all punt returner,
right?
And he get busy with the ball, so I give you that.
Okay. What about you? You gonna change your list or you gonna keep it?
I very rarely change. I say it, I stick with it.
So you gonna stick with that list? All right, man. All right, next topic.
So disappointed. It's the AFC North top
100. All right, next topic. Since T don't want to change his list, let's look at this AFC North top 100 players. And
the average list.
Let's get your thoughts on that. So we got Marlon Humphrey at 86. Well, no, Yeah, he is
No,
the
you
starter.
said that right.
Yeah, Marlon Humphrey at 86. 84 is Cameron Hayward. Miles Garrett is 80. Calais Campbell, 79. 75 is Earl Thomas. 74, Ronnie Stanley. Well, y'all see the graphic. Y'all get it. Do you see it, T? You got the. Okay. Well, it's on live.
You need to just read it off.
You want me to read it off still? Because I stopped at Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah.
Okay, after Ronnie Stanley at 74, we got 61, Jarvis Landry, 59, Odell Beckham, 53, Marcus Peters, 44, Mark Ingram, 36, Nick Chubb, 35, Minka Fitzpatrick, 25, TJ Watt, and number 1, Lamar Jackson. How y'all feeling about that list?
It's accurate.
Okay, well, T said it's accurate. Anything else?
I thought it is accurate. I thought Minka would be a little higher, to be honest with you. I thought Marlon Humphrey would be a little higher. It was first team All Pro. He probably was the best corner on the Ravens, but I understand why Marcus Peters got that. He did have them pick sixes.
Right.
I know Odell next year will be higher. So I think that I know Myles Garrett would have been higher. Would have been higher if he played a full season as well. I also think Ronnie Stanley should have been a little higher, and that's non-biasness, but he gave up 0 sacks. No other left tackle did that in the league, so how he wasn't at least a little higher on the left tackle ranking is a little strange to me. But yeah, I thought Minka would be a little higher. At least thought he would be top 30-ish, top 25-ish with the way he came in, made an impact on that defense and changed them around. I think TJ Watt's in a good position. And you know I ain't gonna disagree with number one. Everybody know I ain't gonna disagree with number one. So you know I think that's accurate.
Okay. Well, me looking at the list, I'm saying for the most part it's accurate. There are some spots that I'm like they a little too low, but like you said, Myles Garrett didn't play a full season. Odell and Jarvis, they weren't. I mean, Jarvis is up from me.
I think that's a good ranking for Jarvis.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the range he probably would have fell around. But like, come on, we know if Odell gives you that full season and he's Odell.
Yeah, because
at least he's gonna be 23.
Yeah, he was 23 last year, so he should have been up there. He was getting the ball like Baker should have been giving him. The only thing that I will say is noticeable is because the last few years they were on there. I don't see no Geno Atkins. I don't see no AJ Green. I know AJ was injured, but he didn't even do a full season last year, and I think he was on that list. And Geno, well, he hasn't been making no noise, but that's the only thing that's noticeable truly to me.
I feel you on the Geno. I understand why AJ's not on there, right. But the Geno, I kind of do feel you on that. So I would be that. Other than that, on the AFC North players, I thought Joe Mixon, but then I thought about it, like he didn't score his first touchdown to like week 13.
Yeah, I thought on that too, because
that's probably why he wasn't on there.
Right.
He not make no impact. But AFC North players, yeah, Geno probably would be shocking he's not on there. But I know it's not AFC North, but something else that's strange on this list to me. How's Carson Wentz not on there?
He wasn't? I thought
Nah, every other playoff quarterback was on that list but Carson Wentz. Yeah. He didn't have no receivers.
They stayed
If you check the Eagles stats and like who their lead receiver was compared to other people, I know that's not AFC North, but I was shocked Carson Wentz wasn't on there, to be honest with you.
Right. But any last thoughts, T, before we move on?
I think, like as far as the Carson Wentz thing, I mean, just being a player's pro, not to speculate on what players think, but I mean, he's often injured, so I think like that played a part. Or he's often forgotten about just because I mean, at the end of the season, you probably don't remember him being there. It's kind of one of those things. Like he probably should have been on that list, but I mean, it's coming from the players. So I think a lot of the times players are coming from the perspective of I played against this guy or I know his style or respect him. It's like he kind of balances both out. So I mean that's to me I can understand why. I mean I probably would have put him on the list too because he did, do what he did. But I think players kind of reward winning too. So speaking to your Bengals, I think that's why Atkins and Joe Mixon weren't on there is because the Bengals won 2 games. I mean, by the sheer fact that the Ravens have so many players, it's kind of like your Pro Bowl. Like it's winning teams are going to have the most players on that list. Are they, are there really 100 players better than Atkins and AJ Green and Joe Mixon in the NFL? Probably not. But as far as last year, yeah, probably. I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, one trend that I did see yesterday was a lot of players that weren't on the list last year were on the list, not just on the list, but rocket high. Like Lamar Jackson was on the list last year. He ended up being number one this year. So I mean,
Lamar
it's like
did
a lot of
kind of shake the whole game up when he showed up this year.
yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's a respect level thing. I mean, and I don't know when the list was put together, but I mean, another name. I'm putting Patrick Mahomes number one every year, probably. I mean, that's just my mentality. Like, I get that.
No, he's saying it's a surprise that Lamar, like, he wasn't on the list and he just shot up all the way to number one.
Oh,
yeah, and he said he would put Mahomes one every year.
Like,
which
that's me.
I can't argue with.
Nah.
That's again, if we're going off of players, then I mean, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes number one over anybody. Okay. But I think the players, the way that they grade is kind of different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what they see on any given year. I think it's definitely a year to year kind of thing.
All right.
They don't look at the mentality of starting the team, because I think if you look at it starting the team, that team's a whole lot different. Some of them agent stars will be pushed down. So it's pretty cool to come from a perspective of the players. I think another thing that was interesting was, speaking of Pat Mahomes, he wasn't the second quarterback either. It was Russell Wilson. Right. So I mean, that was, to me, credit to him, because Russell Wilson has definitely been putting his work in. But to even be looked at in that light, it's dope, because it shows that the players kind of respect that. As far as AFC North, I knew there was going to be a lot of names on there. I mean, because the AFC North is just full with talent. Again, like I said, I think they was rated properly, because I think it really was Lamar Jackson and everybody else in that division. And that's not a knock on anybody else in that division. It's just Lamar Jackson was just that unreal this year.
I mean, but when you say it like that, how can Lamar not be number one, though? Like you said, the AFC North is filled with a whole bunch of talent, but it's like Lamar Jackson and everyone else, because he shook the game up so much this year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why, I mean, he's deserving of the number one player of last year. Like, my thing was saying Patrick Mahomes, I'm taking him number one. I'm talking about starting the team.
Okay.
If I'm starting a team at any time, you tell me that I have the number one pick of every player in the NFL, I'm going with Pat Mahomes each and every trip.
Okay.
I know that he can definitely win me a championship. I've seen him do it before. I know his arm talent, and I think the reason he was down on the list this year, I mean, and 4 is still 4. I mean, that's still your top 5 talent, but I think that him being hurt is the reason that it knocked me. Because, I mean, all things considered, I think he ended up he's a quarterback that held the trophy at the end of the year. Not Lamar Jackson, not Drew Brees, not Russell Wilson. It was Patrick Mahomes. Give me that proven winner that still has a ton of potential. I think Pat Mahomes will still get better. But as far as last year, Lamar Jackson, I mean, he was the MVP for a reason. He was legitimately, best case scenario, Michael Vick. Like, if you can draw it up and you said, give me Michael Vick at his max potential, what he can be, the best he can be, that's what you would have got with Lamar Jackson last year.
Okay.
And the crazy thing about him is the game has gotten faster, but he still looks like he's a step faster than everybody else.
Right. Okay. So,
but he's well deserving of it for last year for sure.
Right. Okay. So since we you mentioned Pat Mahomes, lifting the trophy last year and everything, let's talk about this upcoming season and all these players opting out. Y'all think the season's still gonna happen?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Maurice?
I think the season will happen. It'll just be some bumps and bruises, like some bumps on the road as it happens. And I don't know, Roger Goodell just got to listen to his players more. Obviously, they want more safety and things like that. They want to know how things will actually go with the COVID in the NFL season. But I think it will be a season. You see training camp still got approved to start and things like that. So I think there will be a season. Right. It'll just be some bumps in the road with that.
And speaking on Goodell, let's just let's mention his the letter that he wrote What was it
Bro,
the other day?
He the worst general manager. Well, I mean not general manager. Commissioner in sports, bro. He's like the only one who doesn't listen to his players, like what they're asking for, what they're needing. Like he's like the one who's just stubborn to it,
Right.
like stuck in his ways. Like it's absurd how he acts. Like I think he's the worst commissioner in sports. Like
I mean, he canceled preseason. He said that within that letter. That don't mean nothing.
nah,
All right.
you see his players still opting out because they don't even know what's going on. Training camp literally about to start, and they don't have a clue
Right.
how they're going to be protected. The games are going to go like nothing. Like, bro, you got to put something in motion. Like, it's college ADs out here looking better than you for their program. You see, college teams are getting their schedule right, dropping their conference play and stuff like that. Like, Goodell has to do something to get his players right to get the season going.
Okay. All right. What about you, T? What you think on Goodell's letter? And hold up, before you start, keep it short. We about to go on break after you start.
Why you ask me a question and tell me to keep it short?
I don't know what T was saying, but I know it's some Lamar Jackson hate in there. Why he shouldn't have been one?
Nah, because you went on a whole ramble about why you have Pat Mahomes first. Starting the team, everything. Even though Lamar deserved that number one.
He know that countdown voted by the peers, right?
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. He was like,
okay. You know Lamar, the first ever player to throw for 3,000 and run for 1,000, right? You know he broke the NFL rushing record for quarterbacks. I'm still taking Pat Mahomes. You know he led the NFL in passing touchdowns last year with only 6 interceptions. You know it's only about 5 quarterbacks in NFL history to throw that many touchdowns with that least amount of interceptions.
Bro,
you know he threw three games with 5 touchdown passes. Right? You know he had 2 games where he had more touchdown passes than incompletion.
Oh man.
After the playoffs,
but he should have been one. It's voted by the peers though.
He said how them playoffs go.
He's a Browns fan. He shouldn't speak nothing on playoffs.
That's crazy.
I can still see it. Like I can, and that's
he said he can still see it.
Oh yeah.
That's a weak counter. So everything I say is invalid now because I'm a Browns fan. I'm loyal to my team. That makes no sense whatsoever.
No, I'm not doing all that.
He said, "Is it invalid? His opinion invalid just because he a Browns fan, right?"
Nah, not at all.
But that's what he just said, though. That makes 0 sense whatsoever.
All right, before y'all,
I still see a man shrinking in the playoffs. Whether I'm a Browns fan, Ravens fan, Bengals fan, Steelers fan, Titan fan, Texans fan, I seen him shrink in the playoffs. It is what it is.
It was 7 drops by receivers and tight ends in that playoff game too, right?
I'm mad you just answered him and you can't even hear him.
Okay.
I want my quarterback to win the championship at the end of the year. I don't care about what you win after the end of the regular season.
Right.
I want you to win the Lombardi at the end of the season. Patrick Mahomes shows me he can do that, and he can still get better. Lamar Jackson has shown me that he can get you to the playoffs, but he will shrink, and his team will shrink each and every time. Until he proves me otherwise, then we'll have a conversation. Until then, Pat Mahomes over Lamar Jackson. Case closed.
Okay, so you got 3 minutes for this Goodell right here. That letter.
I mean, I'm tired of writing letters. Do something. Like I don't need 3 minutes for this one.
Okay, so you're basically on the same level as Coach with Goodell. Like he's terrible. He got to start writing letters and actually do something to prove to his players.
Like I just don't care though. Like that's just what it is. Like I don't care about all the technicalities. Like just do your job.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has a job. Your job is to make sure that these players can play the game or not play the game, and we know about it. So whatever you need to do, I mean, the difference between you, me, and Godale is the fact that they have the money to do whatever they need to do. If you need, testing every day, just like the NBA has not skipped a beat whatsoever. The NBA season is still on track. Everything is still cool. You have that ability if you're Roger Goodell, but he, for whatever reason, hasn't brought that to the forefront. So, I mean, I don't, like I said last week, I don't have no problem with him being transparent with the players, but that's a conversation you need to have. Like, it seems like he's a day late and a dollar short, or they like to rush on deadlines. Like, you have a NFLPA. Keep in conversation with them, see what they want, and see what, how that adds up, and then get the season started. Like, I'm just done with all the technicalities for real. I just want to see a season or not a season. Let me know what's up.
Okay, all right. Well, we're about to go on a quick break, but before we go, make sure you check out StoreOnAir.com where we have all our live streams, blogs, daily content. So check out scrollingair.com. And when we, golly, I need some water. We're gonna go on break, and then we're gonna come back with a player spotlight. We're gonna talk about AJ contract, um, Antonio Brown retirement, and we're gonna mention Baker shape. All right. Okay, and we back. We back. So now let's talk player spotlight. Let's talk AJ Green contracts. Talk.
Pay the man.
Pay the man. That's all you gotta
Although,
say.
although things are tricky though, because with the salary cap might be reduced. I really don't know. I mean, naturally you would say pay the man. I mean, I still believe pay the man, but I do think it's cut and dry. But I mean, especially if you're the Bengals, you need as much talent as you possibly can have, especially with this kind of year because you don't know what kind of training or if you're going to have a training camp for real, or with the preseason maybe not being here. It's just so many unknowns. And with the rookie quarterback, like you would love to be able to have an AJ Green that he can throw the ball to for at least the next few years. So, I mean, if I'm the Bengals, I'm still trying to work to get it done. If nothing else, offensively, I'm trying to get him as much as he can use there. Like I'm trying to sign Joe Mixon, keep AJ Green, Tyler Boyd already under contract, keep that line together. Just because Burrows is going to be the guy that's going to take you wherever you need to be. If you're going to go anywhere as a Cincinnati Bengals, you're going to need that. And you're going to need a guy like AJ Green to be able to be a safety blanket for Burrow.
All right. So, I mean, you mentioned the cap space and everything. I don't know what the cap space for the Bengals is right now. I'm gonna look it up. But what about you? What do you think on the contract?
I agree with T. They should pay him as much as he's given to that franchise, that organization, being the player he's been when he's out there on the field. So I think they should pay him. But if they don't want to pay him, I at least think they should show enough respect to trade him to a contending team, somewhere where he could go and compete. Maybe somewhere like Green Bay, who needs another receiver. So if they don't want to pay him, just pay him his utmost respect and send him somewhere where he could compete, actually be with another good quarterback. Because AJ Green has put in his work, so he deserved to get paid. So I'm with T when he say pay the man. But you know how the NFL goes; it's a business.
Right.
They done drafted some younger receivers. They got a couple of young receivers on the roster already. So we'll see how it goes. But they definitely should pay AJ Green.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the same boat with y'all. Pay the man, especially since he's on they franchise tagged him, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, they should definitely pay him. But I'm looking at the cap space. It says they only got 23 million in cap space.
Mm.
You think that's enough to cut a deal?
They're giving him
He's gonna take up
17,
majority of that cap.
if I understand that correctly, and I think that adds to that cap space. So I think if they even like say they give him like $11 million average, then they'll gain like 6 or 7 million on the cap, and then they can pay him that over the next couple of years. And I mean, again, even if the cap goes down, I think that's why you picked up a T Higgins. I think that's why John Ross, you could probably bring him back to the cheap. Tyler Boyd still has a pretty reasonable contract. I think the Bengals are positioned well if the money does have to get cut down. They have some veterans that they can get rid of that's kind of carrying a big price tag. You may not like to hear this, but Gino may be gone before AJ. Like it's just kind of one of those things.
You said Gino gonna be going for AJ Green to help that cap space. That's crazy.
I could definitely see that.
I mean, I could see it too, but I don't want it to happen.
It doesn't necessarily. I'm not saying it's going to happen that way, but I'm saying as far as AJ will get his. If they have to get rid of Gino to make sure that AJ can get his, they'll get rid of Gino so AJ can get his.
Okay, all right. Well, we're all in agreement about paying the man, and you touched on the cap space. So let's talk about Baker's shape. How he looking going into this season? You want to take it off, Coach?
I seen the pictures floating around in the videos. He looked like he is in better shape. He's been toned up a little bit more because he did kind of just sometimes look like the chubby quarterback.
Right.
But it definitely looked like he's been putting in work this offseason trying to get better. So yeah, if he's in that shape, now it's just time to go and prove it. You got everything out there. You got the running backs you need. You got the wide receivers you need. You got the tight ends you need. The organization obviously has faith in you. They upgraded the O line. So like me and T said, every episode. I feel like this is Baker's his year to show it.
Make or break year.
Yeah, kind of his make or break year. Go get that second contract from the Browns. Don't have to go to another team and try to start all over there on some Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota type thing. So hopefully the in shape turn over to the field for the Browns organization, the Browns fans, and Browns players like that because I know that's what they've been waiting for. So we'll see.
All right, what about you, T?
Well, he knows this is his. It is his make or break year. It's not the NFL that it used to be, where you might have a couple more years of kind of trying to prove your worth. And I think Baker kind of unfairly gets a lot more flack just because of who he is as a person. But I think that he did what young quarterbacks do. He had a really good rookie year, and then he had a pretty average to not so good second year. So I don't know what Baker we're going to get, but if the Baker that we're getting is motivated and he's working out and he's getting his shape and he's getting his mind together, and you haven't really seen him a lot in the media. I know the last couple of years he was having little spats here and there with like Hal Hurd and a couple other people here and there. Like he was real sensitive over stuff and felt like he had to defend himself. And I can understand that too because as an athlete, a lot of times you're just kind of expected to lay there and take it, and it's a weird way of looking at stuff. But I think if Baker can be motivated and just focus on football, I mean, the sky's the limit. And I mean, you have to look at the situation and know that you can't have that kind of roster and then the blame is on that roster. Like I've been saying, and Coach is right. Like we've been saying it every week. Um, all the blame is on everybody else that's happened with Baker. Okay. Now it's Baker's turn. If you're not good, Case Keenum can easily come in, see that talent, and be able to do some things for you. There's a lot of quarterbacks that would love to be in the position that Baker is there at with the skill position that he has. So I think he recognized that this can be his make or break year. And a lot of times you look at, he can be replaced. He can be replaced. That's all well and good, but he can also ascend and take that money. You know what I'm saying? Like Baker can go out there and ball out and get paid like that franchise quarterback. It can go that way too. So if he can do what he needs to do, he won't be a Jameis Winston and be looking on another team trying to earn the starting spot. He will be getting that check. So I think that the motivation does start right now. And I think it does help that he has some continuity with his roster and he's looking to make them stride. So I mean if that translates to on the field, I'm happy with it. But a lot of players will tell you they're in the best shape of their life during the offseason. I need to see that translate into the season.
Okay. Well, I'm with both of y'all. I just looked it up. He does look like he's in better shape. He's not out making those commercials as he was last season. Yeah, he looked like he's trying to buckle down, especially since him and Lamar came out in the same draft, right? And Lamar had that amazing second year. That was his second year, right? So it looks like he's trying to copy that, especially since this is probably his make or break season. Okay, so the end it out. Let's talk about
retirement.
Huh?
Talk about Antonio Brown's retirement.
Yeah, let's talk about Antonio Brown and his supposed retirement. Who want to take it off?
We covered it. I mean, we definitely covered it.
Say that again, T.
So we covered it. I mean, we spoke about him being able to keep his head together and keep his mind right. And it's Antonio Brown for you. I mean, he's a ticking time bomb, and you just never know with him.
Right.
That's the thing. Like he's kind of off the field. He's the opposite of what he was on the field. On the field, he was always reliable. You knew what you was getting with him every week. You knew what kind of playmaker he was. You knew what kind of type of person he was getting on that field on them Thursdays and them Sundays. But now you just don't know.
Okay, so with his unreliability off the field, you're not really surprised about this retirement.
No.
Okay, what about you, Coach?
I kind of wasn't shocked by it either, especially with like it sounding like he's still under investigation. Because if you heard, Lamar did mention how he would love to play with him, and John Harbaugh, the coach, would kind of shot that dead because he was like Antonio's still under investigation with the NFL. You see the Seahawks; they have their young core. I just seen them talking about they want to bring Josh Gordon back if he passes everything as well. So them were really the only two teams you heard of even signing Antonio Brown. Like
Right.
you heard Tampa Bay, but we know with all they got down there was really no need to bring Antonio Brown. So I'm not shocked by this, and like T said, all this off the field drama and things that's happened within the past year with him is kind of not shocking. It's sad to see him go out like this because he was literally one of the best of his era, one of the best of his generation. Uh, I just screamed Tony Toe Tap the other day, so like it's just always stuck in your head. So it's sad to see him go out like this if this is how he go out. But yeah, man, I don't see no other team really taking a chance on him, especially if he's still being investigated by the NFL.
Okay. Well, since you mentioned that, because I don't think I didn't see that one, so I didn't know about that. My thought on it, I mean, I ain't really believe him. Well, I believe that he was retiring, but I didn't think it would take for long, because most they always try and get back to play. Like T.O. was just practicing with
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, and Chaz always doing something. So I'm like, he's gonna stay in shape.
Yeah, he's gonna stay in shape and stay around the game, but
Right.
it's just like NFL. Sometimes, man, you would get blackballed. Like
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick, Chad Johnson. Like speaking to him, like when
Right.
he exit, like T.O. Like if they gonna blackball you, the NFL gonna blackball you. For me, it's not like the NBA where like somebody like Melo got blackballed, came back. JR is back. Deion Waiters back. So like it's not like
Better World Peace came
yeah,
back.
you feel me? The NBA is a little different. Like the NFL, man, once they blackball you,
You gone.
yeah, them GMs get to passing them words, and we all know all them teams is majority owned by, well, not all of them are owned by old white guys. So
Right.
we know how they really feel at the end of the day. So once they blackball you, it's a wrap on that.
True. So yeah.
I mean, and I still would have blackballed him. Antonio Brown, he got to go because that at some point, like you got to stop enabling that behavior.
Right.
That's far too often athletes get enabled because they are athletes and they can do spectacular things on the field or the court. Like, nah, bruh, you got to stop because I'm tired of it. Like, I don't believe that. Like, to me, retirement, especially with him, it's like the wrestling matches, the retired Shawn Michael matches. Like Shawn Michaels done had 30 retirement matches and still came back each and every trip. Same with Ric Flair.
I mean, like, that's different with wrestling though. To compare that to him, like Vince brings them back instead of.
I'm saying I don't respect it as being legit either. Like I didn't watch wrestling to see Ric Flair, count the lights and think, oh, he will never be back. Same with Antonio Brown. Like I think he will be back in the limelight. I just don't necessarily think he'll be back in the NFL.
Okay, so you don't respect his decision to retire, but you get that he'll be in the limelight. He'll be practicing with, the youngest, probably like his cousin, all that other stuff, but he won't be in the NFL.
No, he's like a take my ball and go home type of person. Okay. Like that's what I see from him. When he doesn't get his way, he wants to, he's a court of public opinion type of person. I care what other people think way too much that I don't focus on what I need to focus on. And I think at this point, it's just his focus is, it's like he knows that he can wake up and be a great wide receiver any day of the week. So he kind of works on doing everything else. I honestly think Antonio Brown grew up in the wrong era. He should have been out there with the Ochos and the T.O.s and, all those guys where that diva stuff was more welcome. I think the NFL now is just less and less about who you are as a person, like Coach was saying. Like, they look at everything as you're just replaceable. You're just a number. You're just another player. They'll blackball you quick because at the end of the day, they look at them making you the star. Like Antonio Brown would still be a talent, but without the NFL, Antonio Brown would be next to nothing. And the NFL looks at him that way. So it's more so, we keep giving you chance after chance because you're talented, but now you're getting to that over 30 heel. Now you get to the point where, you're blowing up teams and you're screwing up things because you look at the Raiders situation. That's draft picks that I can't get back. If I'm going to bring in Antonio Brown, it can't be for big money because he can just blow it all up. It can't be for trades and nothing like that because he can just blow it all up. So I just think it's going to get to a point where it's like, I'm not going to get better by getting another receiver over Antonio Brown, but I'm not going to get worse either because the locker room is going to be more put together.
Okay, so we're at the end of our show. Any last thoughts from anyone? No.
Oh yeah, you can follow Always Talking Sports on Twitter. It's always TLK Sports on Twitter.
Okay, you want to shout out anything for you? Any social media? T, you want to shout it out?
Check us out on Facebook. Like our page, Nutty North, and I got the open gym page. Like that too. Share, subscribe. Hopefully next week I am in a seat in the actual studio and not at home.
Okay. Well, for me, I guess you could check out my Facebook, Rondell Sutherland. I don't really post, Instagram or Sutherland Films. You can check that out if you want to. I'm gonna get the posting, but that's the end of our fourth show.
Shout out Nova Village too. I wasn't pointing at nobody else.
I thought you was pointing at the screen. I
Yeah,
thought
Nova
something.
Village game.
Okay. That's the end of our fourth show. I want to say, yeah, fourth show. It's a little rocky, but we got it. We getting it together. I'm getting it together. Since you want to look at me like that, I'm trying to get it together. So we'll catch y'all next time.
We're gonna get you right, Rondell.
Yeah. Catch y'all next time.
Yeah.